This video is for a couple of you guys talking about landing collabs. It's a good way to make money on your way to releasing a sample pack if you have samples. If you're doing anything from scratch, then this is like another way to make money off of your samples, and it can be a very lucrative one. I have multiple friends who have earned nearly $300,000 in a year doing this through BeatStars and YouTube collabs. I think Kavi's been very public with how successful it's been. I personally have made around $50,000 doing this, and I spend very little time doing it just because it's not my main thing. But if I needed to do this more often, I totally could. I set up a 6-step process to building a collaboration business through YouTube and BeatStars. And by the end of this little video, you should know exactly who to collab with, how to find them, how to reach out to them, and how to automate the process so you can focus 100% on creating new value and building relationships instead of unproductive tasks like sending a million emails with little minor changes. The collaboration game is a game of relationships and adding value, which is super true. Step 1, we need to find people to collaborate with. And it's very important that you find the right people to collaborate with, because you don't need to collab with literally anyone and everyone. If some people they're like, if I'm not sending an email to every single producer on the planet, I'm failing. And that's not true. You're going to get 90% of your revenue on collabs, I swear, from 10 to 15 people. So just focus on the right people and the people that make sense with you, with who align with what you're doing. And if nobody aligns with what you're doing, you should probably take a look at what you're doing. There's probably not a market for it if no one is doing it. First, okay, yeah, how would I find someone? Let's put myself in Rodrigo's shoes, where I'm doing he's doing alternative R&B, Drake, Brent Faiyaz, SZA, Tory Lanez, R&B or R&B hip hop. It's pretty simple. Okay, you're just gonna go to search Drake type beat, which I have. Let's see, Drake R&B type beat. Okay, cool. Okay, that's a very R&B type beat. One of the super important things that separates you from spamming versus actually adding value in the collaboration game is being specific. Okay, so this person does Drake R&B type beats. If you send him a hard Drake type beat, that is spamming. He has no use for that. It's just not useful. Don't think about making the craziest samples on the planet. Think about, how can I be useful? That's a better question to ask. So, okay, easy. Email him here. Nothing wrong with doing both. Email him or just go to his Instagram and send a message. Step 2, reach out to them. Show, don't tell is a good rule of thumb. So basically be like, hey man, can I send you samples? They're too busy. They don't know who you are. They don't know if your samples are good. You're the 20th person that day to try that, and it's not effective, and it doesn't work, and it's kind of wasting everyone's time. So instead, what I would do is screen record your top 1 to 3 best samples. Make sure it is hyper specific to the type of music that they make. If they're a successful producer, you're going to notice that they have a specific sound, just kind of how I've been preaching over and over again. Reach out to them. Show, don't tell. Don't beat around the bush. They know why you're reaching out. You're not cold DMing them to be friends. Yes, you should be friends with the people you collaborate. That's a better working relationship. Just be like, hey, I made these ideas for your channel. What do you think? You could introduce yourself if you want. I don't know. Some people it's usually older producers, honestly, that really care about that. Say, hey, I'm blank. I made these ideas for your channel. What do you think? If you're like, hey, what do you think about these? You're not telling them why you're even sending stuff. It's either sneaky or just kind of weird. They're like, what do you want me to do with these? And it's just confusing. No one has any clarity. And I've done that in the past, and it just I've learned from that, because I was afraid to be direct. It's not, if they don't like it, they'll ignore it, or they'll say keep working or something like that. It's fine. And that's good feedback. That helps you understand where your stuff is at. A lot of times they might tell you it's bad if it's not specific to them. So if they do soulful hip hop and you send them a jazz inspired sample, they might say it's not good, and what they mean is it's not good for them. So don't be too discouraged, and don't take it too harsh. Or if you send a hard Drake type beat to a R&B Drake producer, they're gonna be like, oh, it's not for me. It's just they're looking for a very specific sound. Keep in mind, you are adding value to them if you do it right, but you're spamming if you do it wrong. So do it at a high level with hyper specific, people will be happy that you reached out to them. A lot of people think that they're spamming or have like this hold up of like coming and like you're asking for something. You're not. You're adding value to them. Like, especially if you do it successfully. Say you send them a loop, gets them 100,000 views on YouTube. They're going to make like $2,000 off the loop, $3,000 maybe even more off the loop that you sent them that they didn't have to make. And you're going to make money and their audience is going to love it and they're going to like them more for it. That's a W if you do it right. If you spam and blow up their email with like left field loops or something that's not specific to them, it's like, yeah, that's annoying. Don't do that. Yeah. So, okay. So send those, like, I would send those screenshots on IG and I would send to their email, just do email attachments with like your 3 best samples that are hyper specific to them, or 3 screen recordings on Instagram, because it's a lot of work to leave the app for them, especially when they're getting so many. If they like them, I'm trying to think of an example conversation, how it could go. Hey, I made these for your YouTube channel. What do you think? If they like them, they'll literally just say, hey, these are fire. Send them over. Here's my email. Like, that's how a successful interaction will go. So now that you get their email, yeah, and it's not the only way. Sometimes they give you their phone number or something, which can be cool. Like, yeah, basically I wrote here, just be a human being and reach out to them however you would a friend. It's not that serious and don't be weird. Just that. Don't put too much weight on it. Don't think it's anything more than it is. It's like you're attempting to add value to their business in exchange for a collaboration percentage. And make sure you find customers that are worth collabing with. So like this person, 42,000 subscribers. Let's see, latest 3 hours, 2 days ago, 6.6, 11, 31. Okay, so this would be a high value collaborator. Also, my friend Pale, this would be a high value collaborator. Focus on the high value collaborators. And if they all ignore you, then you're probably not good enough yet, or you didn't get their attention. Work on your scale. Yeah, so like Pale's doing good numbers. He's a high value collaborator. Also, go to BeatStars. How would I find, let's find another one. Okay, I don't know who this person is. Will Alexander. We'd go to him. Oh, Kavi and Sarah collabed with him. This is literally, Kavi did this exactly for this. Okay, how do you find his info? Just keep clicking around. Instagram, boom, there we go. Literally, yeah, just send him a message of like, hey, I made these ideas for your channel. Let me know what you think. Simple as that. Oh, yeah, that's funny. $2.99. Interesting strategy, but that's besides the point. Once you have a list of very specific producers, let's say all Drake R&B type beat for the sake of this one, that's a phenomenal niche. We're going to Gmail. Step 5, once you have a list of very specific types of producers, set up mail trackers so they can automate the send out process. I think it's called Mail Suite now. So basically you install it, but you do probably need the paid version to do it. Like $6.90 a month. You can see if people open it, maybe even like $14 a month. Like if you have a real business doing that, that's nothing. Set this up, but Mail Suite is 100% the way to go. That way you're not sending out like each individual emails. That's like an hour a day versus 10 seconds a day. It's there's no other way to do this. So basically once you have it, you create a campaign. So I created these lists. How did I even make this list? Sorry, it's been a minute. Just click on the list buttons on the left and you'll have the main options. Creating a mailing list with Mail Suite. Okay. Yeah, you can make lists in Gmail and then you add the contacts. That's basically how you do it. It's like you'd create Drake R&B type producers would now be your list. And so I have this, like, let's say, okay, I wanted to send a Drake type loops for these people. So then I would say something like fire, and you don't even have to say this. You could say Drake type loop for, yeah, with this list right here, I was able to, put a greeting name, and it's just a specific producer name. So now it's automated. Drake type loop for, we'll say, Isaiah 22 is, and then sometimes I'll put like at Dilly Got It Bumpin' so they know who it came from. Because if you have a good reputation, then that's good. If you have a bad reputation, then that's bad. And then I'd literally drag and drop the MP3 with stems attached, either a Dropbox with a link to the stems, or I would just do the MP3 style where you space out 1 bar between each stem at the end. So it's like one long file and it's like a 12-minute file. That's another way to do it. And then I have this signature on all my emails, insert signature right there. So Instagram, Twitter, BeatStars, they can reach me anyway. I don't even say anything. I just drop. And this is after you've gotten permission to send stuff. If you've gotten their email, do not just send emails, because what will happen is you will get blocked by majority of producers, or you send low quality loops or samples and non-specific samples. You will also get blocked and kills your chance of making business, because now you can't reach these people. Then people will be like, I don't think anyone in this community will think that, because everyone has really good attitudes. But the general producer community will be like, oh, sending samples doesn't work. No, sending your samples doesn't work because you're doing it wrong. You're not being specific, and your stuff is also low quality. But people have their ego barriers are too hard. Like, it's too hard for people to accept that. So instead, it's the game that doesn't work. However, there's obvious evidence right in their face that it's working for a lot of people. Now, once you have that mail track set up, this is not an overnight game, but could you make good progress in a month? Absolutely. Could you have a couple $100 coming in every week after a month doing this? For sure, if you do it right. So your next step is to work hard, make samples that are useful and valuable to a very specific type of producer that is in a good market, and then get on a schedule, whether that be twice a week, 3 times a week, 5 times a week, 7 if you can, but quality might dip, and then you need to adjust from there, and then gauge feedback. So basically, you might be sending ideas that are like 80% there, but maybe it's a little too pop. Maybe your vocals on a filtered R&B, Drake R&B idea, it's a little too pop. It needs to be more soulful R&B. I like to send stuff out in the real world. People will tell you what you're doing wrong, and like, I like to send it as like a lightning rod for criticism, and that helps me. Be like, that gives me new information that I didn't have, and that's literally how I learn all this stuff, is just not being afraid to try it. So that's literally 6 steps on how to build like potentially $100,000 a year plus business through collaborations. And let's see if I can do a quick summary. Overall, find high value collaborators to collab with. Then reach out to them in a non-annoying, direct way that you show your work. You don't tell them about their work. They don't want to hear about it. They want to hear the actual work. Then get their contact info. Then add them to a very specific list. Then once you have a collection of lists, get on a schedule and grind and send out consistently, and consistently add value. Add value and expect nothing. And just keep at it. Like, is the second you send something, forget it. Then set up a mail suite to automate this process so that you're not doing like nitty gritty details that don't drive the business forward. And then just like work hard, get a schedule, constantly learning, constantly trying to get better, add more and more value. And the level of output and the quality of output will dictate your income. This is like the framework of how that all works. So, and then another thing to keep in mind is the market you choose matters. As always, it's important to find what's at the intersection of what you like and what there's a market for. Certain types of producers you'll earn more than others collabing with them. There can be like high view niches and low sales. You want to find the highest possible sales niche. I can say currently that's probably Drake R&B and some of the pop stuff, and country, if anyone can do that. That's where the market's currently at. It's always changing. So whenever I made this video, those were the high profit niches. So hopefully this was valuable, and thanks for watching.